Uh, we have completed till question number 40 in previous live. So we are just moving from question number 41. Here you can see the tendency to falsely believe through revision of older memories to include newer information that one could have correctly predicted the outcome of an event is known as. I am just repeating the question once again. The tendency to falsely believe through revision of older memories to include newer information that one could have correctly predicted the outcome of an event is known as option 1 misinformation effect, option 2 constructive processing, option C hindsight bias, and option 4 recency effect. The correct answer is hindsight bias, right? Third will be the correct answer. Now the question is, what is hindsight bias? So hindsight bias means thinking you know something that was going to happen. I am just giving one example to understand it. What I mean to say, individual who are using hindsight bias or who are having this biasness, individual thinks they are aware of और उसको पता था पहले से what is going to happen, right? But this was not the real case. Imagine you are watching a cricket match. Initially, you are not sure about who are going to win this match. But once the game finishes and your favorite team is going to win, is the winner of that particular match, then you confidently says that I knew it, they will win. मुझे पता था पहले से कि हम ही जीतेंगे, right? So this kind of thoughts individual develop and create. We call them hindsight bias. So third will be right answer. Here you can see question number 42. In DSM-5, obsessive compulsive disorder has been classified in option 1 anxiety disorders, option 2 mood disorders, option 3 dissociative disorders, and option 4 obsessive compulsive and related disorder. I would like to say that in DSM-5 and DSM-5 TR, OCD was moved out of anxiety disorder, because till DSM-4 and 4 TR, obsessive compulsive disorder was the part of anxiety, but now that is not the part of anxiety disorder in DSM-5 and DSM-5 TR. So there are one specific category in which we placed obsessive compulsive disorder, that is obsessive compulsive and related disorder. So correct answer will be fourth. Fourth is the right answer. Fine? Okay. If you are having any doubt in between, you can mention right in chat box. We'll try to discuss on them. Question number 43. The need for social approval is an example of and fill in the blank drive. So we have to identify the need for social approval is example of which one? Primary, instinctive, innate, and acquired. We all are aware that whenever we are talking about social need, or we can talk about the social approval or need for social approval, we are learning from the society. That means the need for social approval is considered as acquired drive. We are acquiring from the society because it is learned. We are learning need for social approval, right? So whenever any individual learning something, if any individual learns something, we can say that is acquired. That will not be primary, that will not be instinctive, that is not innate, because instinctive, innate, all these mainly a kind of need that is from the birth, right? Primary is also kind of need that is necessary. We can say that is the necessity kind of need, like food, like water. So what kind of a statement we are having? So more closest answer will be acquired. Acquired will fit into this sentence. So we can say fourth, acquired will be right answer. So I would like to take few names. So Mystery Universe, you are answering. Good. Rigging Wala, you are here. Good afternoon. Arjun, you are answering. Okay. Disa, you joined us. Great. Hudaya, Arju, you are here. Hello, Arju. Hello. So we can move ahead. So now here you can see the concept of emotional intelligence was first introduced by, here you can see we are having these options: Goleman, Salovey and Mayer, Sternberg and Spearman. Mostly individual will be confused between these two options, and sometime individual thinks that Goleman will be the right answer, right? Why? Just because they published a book by the name of Emotional Intelligence that got much popularity. So we think Goleman is the person who presented the concept of emotional intelligence, but that is wrong. Salovey and Mayer was the first person who introduced the concept of emotional intelligence. In short, sometimes we call them EI, in 1990. And they published this particular term. They talked about emotional intelligence in one of their article. The title of their article was Emotional Intelligence, that they published in a journal, and that journal was Imagination, Cognition and Personality. So in the journal, right, Imagination, Cognition and Personality, they wrote an article, they published an article by the name of Emotional Intelligence in 1990. Then later on, Daniel Goleman wrote a book and they published that particular book in 1995 by the name of Emotional Intelligence, and they made that particular term emotional intelligence very popular, right? So the question is, the concept of emotional intelligence was first introduced by, so correct answer will be Salovey and Mayer. But yes, Goleman popularized the term, right? But Salovey and Mayer was the person who talked about emotional intelligence first. Here you can see the snail-shaped structure of the inner ear that is filled with fluid known as. Your options are auditory nerve, pinna, eardrum and cochlea. Sometimes what happens, question will be too easy, but sometimes we are not understanding what will be the right answer. So in those particular situations, do not hesitate to use elimination method. So correct answer is cochlea. We all are aware cochlea's shape is like snail, and they are having, right, fluid, and they are also responsible for some specific kind of processing that converting mechanical energy to electrical one, right? But cochlea is the right answer. If you are not confident which one is the right, then you can eliminate. Here you can see auditory nerve. No any nerve carrying fluid-like structure, right? Fluid-like things and fluid-like content. So this will be eliminated. Pinna is the upper ear. We are aware this structure that you can see from outside is pinna. That is not right. And eardrum usually whenever we are receiving sound, so they convert those sound into vibration, right? That means this is a point where vibration will be there and mechanical energy will begin. So eardrum will not be the right answer. So when you will use elimination method, sometime they will definitely help you out. So correct answer is cochlea. Cochlea will be the right answer. Next, you can see the question here. Disa, well done. You are mentioning right. Yes, Arju. Yes, Hudya. Right, you are mentioning right. Okay, so here you can see next question. Identify the correct sequence of steps as per the information processing model of memory. Sensory, long-term, selective attention and short-term memory. I don't think we are having any difficulties in it. We all are aware that sensory memory will be in the beginning. Sensory will be in the beginning, right? So first of all, there will be sensory memory. If you are going to use any multimodal, more specifically Atkinson-Shiffrin multimodal, we will be able to answer this question. So sensory memory will be in the beginning. Then we are aware that there will be short-term memory, and then there will be long-term memory. We all are aware of it, right? Fine. there is a point, selective attention. Selective attention just work in between sensory and short term. So whenever any information entering your sensory memory, so selectively you are choosing some information to process further. So that will work here, that will work in between. So we can say sensory, then selective attention, then short term, and then long term. So A, C, D, B, A, C, D, B, A, C, D, B. This one, A, C, D, B is the right answer. Fine. Next, personality is the dynamic organization within the individual of those psychophysical systems that determine his unique adjustment to his environment. The definition of personality was given by, this is very factual question. If you know about the definition, you can answer them. If you have attended my class, so when we begin personality, we use this definition in the beginning. So all those individuals who already attended the class, they are already aware, and I am emphasizing on this particular definition and trying to use example on the basis of this definition, because this definition is one of the popular definition that we are having, and that is presented by Gordon Allport. So Gordon Allport mentioning personality is the dynamic organization. Dynamic means what? Not static, right? If something is not static, we can say that is dynamic. If something is changeable, we can say that is dynamic. So according to Gordon Allport, this is the right answer. Personality is not static. Personality is dynamic organization, right, within the individual of those psychophysical system that helping us to adjust ourselves, right, in environment. So whenever we are entering or encountering any environment, in those environment we are using some psychological and some physical system. We call them, those psychophysical system is your personality, and those psychophysical system is not static, that is dynamic. So this definition is presented by Gordon Allport. So first will be the right answer. Next, you can see the tendency to perceive two things that happen close together in time as being related is called continuity, symmetry, closure, and proximity. We all are aware all these concepts is driven from and we taken from Gestaltian approach of perception, Gestaltian law of perception. So continuity, right, is a kind of right concept or phenomena in which we follow the smoother line. So if something continue in a smoother line, if you are having option to move into two direction, you always choosing the smoother line to follow. That is continuity. Symmetry, closure is also not going to relate what is given here. We have to identify the tendency to perceive two things that happen close together, right? So correct answer will be proximity. Why? Just look here, right? This is vertical line, sorry, horizontal line that I am drawing. This is first horizontal line, right? Just look at here, don't blink, right? You can see here, right? This is the second horizontal line. Now this is the third horizontal line. Now this is the fourth horizontal line. Now this is the fifth horizontal line. Now if you will, this is the sixth horizontal line. Now if you will see this particular image together, so you will feel that this is not horizontal line, this is the vertical line. This is the vertical line. And why this happened? I draw horizontal, but you feel them now vertical. Why we feel them vertical? Because these using the concept of proximity, these using the concept of nearness, right? So basically there are more closeness in comparison of this direction. So this direction having right closer structure, right? जो first circle है इससे बहुत close है second circle, then closer third, fourth, fifth, sixth in comparison of this way, in comparison of rightward. So we can say we feel it as a group. We feel it as a group. We feel them as a vertical line just because of closeness, right? So correct answer will be proximity. Fourth is the right answer. Here you can see fill in the blank involves observing a behavior that noticing everything about it. And you are having these four options: description, prediction, control, and analyzing. Whenever we begin psychology, the first thing we are discussing and studying the goal of psychology. What is the goal of psychology? And there we are discussing that okay, there are four main goal of psychology. क्या क्या main goal है? There will be, here you can see, describing, prediction, control, analyzing. But what is the sequence? So first of all, there will be describe, right? There will be describe. Then after description, there will be explanation, explain. And after explanation, there will be prediction, predict. We predict. And after prediction, we control, or we can say we modify. We control and modify. This is the sequence. So now here you can see, fill in the blank involve observing a behavior and noting everything about it. So the correct answer, this is the sequence. Here, correct answer will be description, describe, this one first. Why this is the right answer? So description, as we all are aware, is the first goal of psychology and involves carefully observing any behavior, such behavior, and noticing everything about it, right? So without describing or without description, how you can explain, how you can predict something, how you can control or modify something. So describing, description, right? Describing is not the specific thing जिसमें हम सिर्फ ऑब्जर्व करेंगे. ऑब्जर्वेशन राइट विल बी एट मल्टीपल लेयर ऑफ द description, but description will be the right answer because description is the stage where we are observing things, and on the basis of those observation we are moving further, explaining, predicting, controlling and modifying. Next, our ability to recognize the emotions of others, to understand these feelings and to experience them ourselves at least to a degree is called, right, temperament, sympathy, empathy and attachment. Yes, Disha, description was the right answer. Yes, Muskan. Okay, yes, Arjun, I'm getting your response. Mystery Universe, yes, getting your response. Okay, Muskan, you are mentioning fourth. Disha, you are mentioning empathy. Mystery Universe, empathy. Anisha Bhatia, yes, you are mentioning empathy. Yes, you are right. Correct answer will be empathy, right? Here you can see empathy will be the right answer, right? Third, empathy will be right answer. Why? Because when we talk about empathy, we are explaining empathy as ability to recognize, understand and share the feeling to others. And it also goes beyond just noticing something emotional state or noticing something emotional. It involves mentally, right, putting yourself in their shoes of emotionally, or you are just right, putting yourself in that particular situation, you are experiencing that particular problem, right, at least till some extent, right? So yes, you all are correct. Correct answer will be empathy. The significance level, which is the chance of making a type 1 error, is called, fill in the blank, alpha, beta, gamma, delta. If you attended, right, my lecture, or if you are aware about hypothesis, so you will be aware about this structure, right? So alpha, significance level, is denoted by alpha. So now you are aware that alpha ही correct answer because significance is denoted by alpha. And by default, in psychological study, alpha will be 0.05. 0.05 is 5%, right? So if we are using two-tailed, so we can say this is a rejection area of null hypothesis. This is also a rejection area, and this is acceptance area, and this area, rejection area, this area is based on the level of alpha, what alpha we are having, right? So this is the total of alpha. If there will be one-tailed, right, so there will be alpha, this is two-tailed, so this is alpha divided by 2 and this is alpha divided by 2. So we can say alpha, right, is deciding type 1 error. Here you can see, but if you are aware, right, how we are representing significance level, so we can answer it. Correct answer is alpha. Here you can see, arrange the following personality theories in chronological order. Now this is really little bit of challenging. If we are aware about the chronology of all those theories, then we can answer them. Rather, it will be sometime will be challenging to answer, right? Now, first option is social learning theory, then humanistic psychology, then psychoanalytical theory and interpersonal theory. If you are aware which theory is the oldest one among this, right? So chances are higher that you will be able to guess the right answer. So social learning, humanistic, psychoanalytical and interpersonal. Among all these, psychoanalytical theory came first, and that is presented by R. Freud, and that came in 1900, right? So basically 90s we can say, right, around World War, that particular theory got their prominence. So around that particular time this particular theory came, right? So that's all, right? Here you can see only one options we are having, who are having option C in the beginning, but I would like to mention about all those. So first will be psychoanalytical, that came in we can say 1900s, right, around World War. Then second will be interpersonal theory. Interpersonal theory came in 1930s to 50s. In between that particular theory came, and that is propounded by Sullivan, right? So the second option, second will be interpersonal, right? Then third will be social learning, because social learning came in 1960s and proponent was Bandera. Bandera presented those. And then last will be humanistic psychology, and that came in 1960s or 1970s and presented by Rogers and Maslow. So correct sequence will be C, D, A, B. C, D, A, B. This will be the right answer. Next, arrange the following steps in sequence followed in the test construction. Okay, whenever we are constructing the test, what is the sequence we are following, right? Here you can see testing the item, selecting a scaling method, defining the test and constructing the items. First of all, you can see defining the test will be in the beginning now. Without defining, how we can construct the items, test the item and selecting a scaling method, not possible. So in the beginning there will be defining the test. Now you know, right, I mentioning, right, C will be in the beginning and you will be able to predict, yes, fourth is the right answer, right? So C in the beginning, then after C selecting the scaling method will be second, and then constructing the item will be third, and then, right, testing the item will be fourth. So if you know the first step, then also you will be able to answer it, right? So C, B, D, A will be the right sequence. So fourth is the right answer. Now here you can see, fill in the blank felt that the soul could exist separately from the body, right? And options are Plato, D'Anima, Rene and Gustav Fechner. All these individual is somewhere connected to soul. They defined, they used in a different way, but we have to take name of those philosophers who explained, right, like soul, could exist, right? Felt that soul could exist separately from the body. So they explained soul and body separately, and they argued that our soul and body is separate, right? Correct answer in the beginning I would like to mention here. Correct answer will be Plato. So Plato was the person who believed that soul is immortal, eternal, and can exist separately from the body, right? And he argued that after death, the soul lives, right? On many texts you can find that they are clearly mentioning that soul may be reincarnated, right? Reincarnated into another body. That means soul travels from one individual's body to another body, right? So there are concept of reincarnated, right, and that is presented by Plato. This whole concept, right, when we talk about right, individual's body and soul is a separate entity, right? The soul travel and soul may be reincarnated from one body to another body. This whole concept is known as metempsychosis. Metempsychosis, you can write somewhere if you want to write metempsychosis. So metempsychosis is presented by Plato. That's why we will choose them. So first is the right answer. Yes, Priyanka, right, you are mentioning right. Yes, Arju, Hudaya, okay, we are getting your response. Mystery Universe, Nikita, yes, getting your response. Okay, so next here, match the list 1 with list 2 based on Piaget theory. So 0 to 2 years, now you can see there are so many options. Now question, how any question will be too easy? This is the example of it. If you know 0 to 2 years, first concept came in mind that between 0 to 2 years, object permanence will develop. Object permanence will develop. Here you can see. That means A2, A2. And whenever you observing the options, only one option mentioning A2. A2, only one option having. So if you know object permanence will develop between 0 to 2 years, we can make this kind of question more difficult, right? But you can see here, right? This is the example of easiest question where you know the answer of the first, you are able to match the first option, right? And you got your response, you got your answer. So correct answer will be 2, A2, B3, C4 and D1. Fine? Okay. Here you can see again match the list 1 and list 2. Repression, reaction formation, projection, rationalization, making excuses, blaming others, forgets by pushing down. The best defense is a good offense. So if you are aware repression, if you go with all these, then you can find that forget by pushing down. That means whenever we are having any thoughts, or we can say traumatic thoughts, painful thoughts, we are sending them to the unconsciousness, right? So correct match will be repression 2, forgets by pushing down. So A3, okay, now if you know A3, then you cannot answer, right? You have to find one more right combination at least. Then reaction formation. If you will go with all these, then reaction formation will be connected to the best defense is a good offense. If you are aware about the reaction formation means individual presenting opposite emotions and opposite feeling than their true feelings and true emotion inside, right? So they behave, they present emotion, they present themselves in opposite manner. We call them false persona. They are presenting false persona. So this will be connected to it. The best defense is a good offense. So B4. Yes, B4 we are having right in 2 options. Then at least one more match we need. So projection. So when we talk about projection, here we are having two, blaming others, right? Projection is connected to blaming others. So projection, when we talk about projection, blaming others for their own feeling or impulse. So individual who are using projection, so they blame other individual for their own feeling and for their own impulses. So that will be connected to blaming others. And the repression, right, then making excuses. Rationalization will be making excuses. Rationalization will making excuses. So now here you can see our correct answer will be A3, B4, C2, D1. A3, B4, C2, D1, right? Next, match the list 1 and list 2 again. Picture completion, similarity, Down syndrome, Williams syndrome, performance test, usually IQ below 50, verbal test, low IQ with musical talent. I would like to mention that in CUET PG, administration decide to drop this question because iske jo options hai, what options we are having, that is not representation of correct combination. Right, so in official key there was different answer, correct answer was not given. What will be the correct answer? A, picture completion. Picture completion is related to performance test. Then similarity. Similarity is connected to verbal test. Then Down syndrome is connected to usually IQ below 50, right? According to the available option I am mentioning. And Williams syndrome is connected to low IQ with musical talent. So A1, B3, C2 and D4. This combination 1, 3, 2, 4. 1, 3, 2, 4. You can see we don't have options, right? So we don't have correct combination from these. So administration decide to drop this question. So this is the right answer, but that is not given in the options, right? Okay. Match the list 1 with list 2. Extraversion, agreeableness, conscientiousness and neuroticism, calm, nervous, self-disciplined, disorganized, enthusiastic, reserved, cooperative and uncooperative, right? I don't think you will find much difficulties if you are aware about extraversion. Extraversion means extrovert. So through extrovert, we are trying to identify enthusiastic, to reserved. Enthusiastic to reserved. That means those individuals who will be extrovert, they will be very enthusiastic to meet people, to go outside, and if gradually their extroversion will go down or introvert will be there, then they will be reserved. So extroversion identifying enthusiastic to reserved. Then similarly you can find agreeableness. Agreeableness is connected to cooperative to uncooperative. Agreeableness, right? Like those individuals who are involved in altruistic behavior, pro-social behavior. So this is cooperative to uncooperative, right? Similarly, conscientiousness is related to self-discipline and disorganized. And similarly, neuroticism is related to calm to nervous, right? We are finding them. So we can say A3, B4, C2 and D1. Third is the right answer. A3, B4, C2 and D1. Here you can see the spinal cord is the part of fill in the blank nervous system. So without any doubt, without any confusion, we all are aware that will be central nervous system. In the trichromatic theory of color vision, which of the following cones has been included? Yellow cones, blue cones, red cones and green cones, right? Now you are having these options A, B, D, A, B, C, A, B, C, D and B, C, D. That means we need to know कि in trichromatic theory how many cones we are discussing. So there will be blue cones, that will be responsible for short wavelengths of light like blue. There will be red cones that respond to long wavelength, means red, and green cones that respond to medium wavelength, that is green. So blue, red, green, these cones we are having, right? Blue, red, green. So BCD, BCD, fourth is the right answer. BCD, fourth is the right answer. Here you can see, according to DSM-5, anxiety disorder comprise depression, social phobia, panic disorder, generalized anxiety. So in DSM-5, in DSM-5 TR, social phobia is the part of anxiety disorder, panic disorder is the part of it, right? And generalized anxiety disorder is the part, is the part of it. So we can say BCD, BCD is right answer. So panic disorder as well as panic specifier you can find in DSM-5 TR, DSM-5. So BCD, fourth, BCD is the right answer. Now here you can see question number 62. The chemical substances that can mimic or enhance the effect of neurotransmitter on the receptor site of the next cell are called agonist, antagonist, entologist, and agnologist. There are two major functions of neurotransmitter. Either they can mimic the function of neurotransmitter, or either they can inhibit the function of it. So when any neurotransmitter mimicking the function, or they increase, right, the functionality of those substance, we can say that is agonist. So there are so many agonist, right, substances, or we can say agonist are chemical substance that mimic or enhance the effect of neurotransmitter. Like we can take example, there are so many drugs, if individual consuming that drug, so they mimic the function of dopamine. Dopamine function will go up, right? Their function will be very strengthened. Dopamine function will be too strengthened. We can say all those are agonist. Sometime we are discussing antagonist. That means antagonist is a kind of substance that reducing or blocking the effect of neurotransmitter. So in the statement you can see the chemical substance that mimic or enhance the effect. So agonist mimicking or enhancing the effect. Antagonist will reduce or block the effect. So correct answer will be first, agonist. Which of the following example are related to punishment, right? Now you have to identify all those statements that is the example of punishment. So first, stopping at red light to avoid getting in an accident. No, this is not punishment, right? So individual trying to avoid something aversive. So when there will be avoidance of something aversive, that will be negative reinforcement, right? Not punishment. So this is the example of negative reinforcement. So ye to nahi hoga. This will not be in our right options. Now, second you can see losing the privilege of driving because you got into too many accidents. Yes, right? So there will be something removal that I like. So we can say yes, that is punishment. C, having to lose some of your money to pay the penalty for the late tax filing. Yes, definitely. If I will not file at the right time, I will be punished. That is also punishment. And being grounded because of disobedience, right? Yes, you are losing freedom just because you are disobedient. So we can say B, C, D, all these three will be the right example of punishment. So B, C, D, fourth is the right answer. Fine? Okay. Next you can see 64. A test that measure cognitive, sensory, perceptual and motor performance can be categorized under aptitude, interest inventories, personality test and neuropsychological test. Now you can see here. Aptitude test is not about finding those things, right? That is given here. Cognition, right? Cognitive, sensory, perceptual, and motor performance, right? Interest inventories is also not like, related to it. Personality is also not related to it. Neuropsychological test, under neuropsychological test, yes, we are finding cognitive ability, sensory ability, perceptual ability, motor functions, coordination between two different, right, organs, coordination between brain and body organs. All these we are finding in neuropsychological test. So fourth will be right answer. Which of the following are parametric statistics? We all are aware we can divide all the statistical tests into two parts, parametric and non-parametric. So parametric is those kind of tests in which we are using exact those data that we have collected right from our sample. So we can say that is parametric. Non-parametric means when this is one of the right differences. I'm not saying this is the only difference. In parametric, what usually we do, we convert that data we collected from sample into rating, ranking, all these things, and then we are using them to conclude, to reach at a conclusion. So here you can see Spearman rank correlation. Now here you can see already they are mentioning rank. So whenever we are using rank, that will be non-parametric. इसको तो cut कर देते हैं फिर, because we have to find all parametric statistics. Pearson product moment correlation is, right, parametric. T-test is parametric, Mann-Whitney is not parametric, right? So B and C, fourth, you can see here, fourth, B and C is the right answer. Fine? Next, Yerke-Dodson law states that performance is related to affiliation, attention, arousal, affect. If you know about Yerke-Dodson law also known as inverted U hypothesis, and we are representing those inverted U hypothesis right through this diagram. There will be arousal at x-axis and there will be performance at y-axis. So if arousal increase, your performance increase till this particular point, we call them turning point. Fine. So if arousal increasing, your performance will increase till this particular point. So there are positive correlation between arousal performance till turning point, and when arousal will increase after turning point, your performance decline. Here you can see, if you are not able to control your arousal till turning point, and if your arousal is still increasing, then your performance decrease. We call them, right, we can say there are negative correlation between arousal performance after turning point. So there are positive correlation, there is negative correlation. So we can say this is eustress and this is distress, right? So here you can see Yerke-Dodson law states that performance is related to arousal, right? So third will be our right answer. Okay, Ishita, getting your response. Sneha, well done, getting your response. Anisha, okay. Aisha, getting your response. Yes, Arju, correct. Yes, Priyanka, okay, getting your response. Here you can see John V. Watson is we all know, right, who was John Watson, right? John Watson was behaviorist, right? Here you can see John Watson was behaviorist. So here you can see John Watson was a behaviorist. Third will be right answer. Third will be right answer. Next, when the lights are turned on in a sequence, they appear to move. This phenomenon is known as autokinetic effect, phi phenomenon, Mueller-Lyer illusion, perceptual set. So there is a kind of right question to all of you. You can mention what is autokinetic, phi phenomenon, Mueller illusion, and perceptual set in the comment box. If you watching this video after live, then also you can mention the correct answer. What is the difference between all these in comment box? The correct answer, first of all, I would like to mention the correct answer. Correct answer will be phi phenomenon. Phi phenomenon, one of the great example of phi phenomenon will be those decorative light that we are using in Diwali or in any marriage or at any right occasion. When you feel light is moving, right, light is moving, but in reality when you go closer, then you are observing light is not moving, light is just blinking. So when light is blinking between right 50 to 1000 millisecond, right, in between 50 to 1000 millisecond, then they are creating a kind of illusion that light is moving. We call them phi phenomenon. Here you can see when the light are turned on in a sequence, that means one will blink, then between 50 to 1000 milliseconds, second will blink, third will blink, fourth, fifth, sixth, so on, so on. So they appear to move. This phenomenon is known as phi phenomenon. Second will be right answer. You can mention your answer, like what is the difference between all these in comment box. Next you can see who has developed a theory of cognitive development which emphasizes the role of social factor and language. Now, if you will read all these, you will be confused between two great psychologists, right? First is Lev Vygotsky and second is Piaget. Because they talked about language development, they also talked about social factors on language development. But when you are comparing these two individuals, then you realize that social factor is much emphasized by Lev Vygotsky. Lev Vygotsky said that social interaction is necessary for cognitive development, including language. So they are giving much priority. We will choose Lev Vygotsky as a correct response. First option will be right. Next you can see, according to Allport, a single trait that dominates an individual's entire personality is called. So according to Allport, there will be three different aspects of personality, or we can say trait of personality. There are three different traits, right? First, here we can see central, then there will be right cardinal, or we can say cardinal, central. There I am not writing in a sequence, and then there is secondary. Here you can see we are having all these central, cardinal, secondary, but Allport said that cardinal trait is in the center, right? Cardinal trait means those qualities, those traits that creating your prime identity. Like we can take example. When we remember Mahatma Gandhi, what is the identity and what you think about Gandhi? You can say peace, non-violence. When we think about Dr. Kalam, what do you think about Dr. Kalam? The love, passion for technology. When we think about Lata Mangeshkar, what do you think? Love and passion for music. So all these are cardinal traits in these person, like love for music, or right ability of music will be cardinal trait for Mangeshkar, Lata Mangeshkar. Similarly, love for technology and passion for technology will be cardinal trait for Kalam, Dr. Kalam. Similarly, peace and non-violence will be related to Gandhi, right? So this will be cardinal trait. So correct answer will be cardinal trait. So according to Allport, a single trait that dominates an individual's entire personality is called cardinal trait. So these people, जिसका example अभी हमने discuss किया, all these individuals, no matter what they are doing, in all their activities, right, they are these passion, music, science and technology, and peace and non-violence, you can see they are choosing something to behave in a certain direction, to behave on the basis of these things. That's why correct answer will be cardinal trait. Identify the sub-test of Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale from the following: arithmetic, digit, symbol, similarity, object assembly. So when we talk about all the sub-tests, so yes, arithmetic is there, that is there. Arithmetic, yes, we are having it. Digit symbol, yes, we are having it. Similarity, we are having it. But there is a glitch. when we talk about identify the subtest of Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale, so these three A, B, C, that is there in WAIS fourth. That means this is the version, fourth version, WAIS fourth version. You can find arithmetic digit symbol similarity is given there. But in the previous version, like WAIS, WAISR revision, also having object assembly. So in current version, we don't have object assembly, but till previous version, there was object assembly. So we can say A, B, C, D, all these are the right. All these options will be correct, right? Because this statement, this question not mentioning about according to which revision, according to which revision and according to which version we have to answer it. So we can choose all these A, B, C, D. All these are a kind of subtest in Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale. So A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. Third will be right answer. Fine. Here you can see in the self-determination theory of motivation, some inborn and universal need helps people gain a complete sense of self and whole, healthy relationship with others. These needs are autonomy, competence, relatedness, acceptance. Now, if you are aware about SDT, that is self-determination theory. So that self-determination theory is based on three things, or we can say self-determination theory highlights three innate psychological needs that is vital for well-being and healthy relationship. So these three factor is a key component to be healthy for our well-being. That is autonomy, competence and relatedness. Autonomy, competence and relatedness. So A, B, C will be right answer. Second, A, B, C will be right answer. Sorry. 73. In a trichic theory of intelligence, these aspects are analytical, creative and intelligence. This theory is presented by Sternberg, and Sternberg identified there are three aspects of intelligence: analytical, creative as well as practical, right? Practical. Third, you can see, third will be our right answer. So Sternberg said there are three aspects of intelligence: analytical, creative and practical. Third will be our right answer. 74. Identify the schedule of reinforcement in which the number of responses required for reinforcement is different for each trial or event. In our class, we have clearly talked about that when we are discussing about number of responses, not time, number of responses. So you are planning to give reinforcement to any children or any individual on the basis of number of responses. How many times they responded, accordingly we are selecting कि हमें reinforcement कब देना है. That will be ratio. So this is not time, this is number of responses. And here you can see, identify the schedule of reinforcement in which the number of response required to reinforce in different for each trial or event. और हमने decide भी नहीं किया है कि after how many number of responses we will give them. So fixed तो नहीं है, we haven't fixed number of responses. So we can say that will be variable ratio schedule. If any individual having doubt in this, you can attend learning lecture. I think in second or third lecture we talked about this. So variable ratio schedule will be the right answer. Why? Because we are talking about number of responses as well as number of responses are not fixed. So when number of responses will be fixed, we can say this is fixed ratio schedule. If number of responses is not fixed, then we can say this is the variable ratio schedule. So variable ratio schedule will be right answer. Okay, here you can see, identify the function of Broca area from the following options: understanding language, speech production, motor control, somatosensory control. So when we talking about our hemisphere, right? So there are two hemispheres, right? So when we're talking about our left hemisphere, only left hemisphere, when we're talking about the left hemisphere, suppose that this is the hemisphere and these are the frontal lobe, these are occipital lobe, these are parietal lobe, and these are temporal lobe, right? So these are the four lobes. When we talking about the Broca, so along with Wernicke, Broca area fall into frontal lobe and Wernicke fall into temporal. So these two is responsible for language, but mainly, specifically here you can see, identify the function of Broca. So we have to answer on the basis of Broca that lie in left side hemisphere or in frontal lobe that responsible for speech production. So speech production is the function of Broca mainly, and when we talk about the comprehension and understanding of the language, that will be related to Wernicke. So our correct answer will be speech production. Speech production is the right answer. Fine? Okay. So this was the questions, right? I hope you learned something or you enjoyed this live session. So Sneha, yes, well done. You are responding, yes, here they are. Arjun, Disha, Arju, yes, you all are right. You all are correct, right? So we found that questions was not so difficult, right, in this exam, in CUET PG exam. So this was the questions. From the next live, I will bring some questions that will be little bit challenging, and we will try to answer them. If we are not having understanding about those, or if we are confused, so we can discuss on it, right? And we will try to discuss if you are having any doubt, any queries in those particular topic, so we can discuss at that time. Guys, I am confident that you selected psychology not because you have to study any subject and you are selected, or you have selected psychology randomly. Whenever I am talking to any student who are studying psychology, almost 100% individual mentioning I am keen in this subject, right? So I am very hopeful that you are here just because you are keen in this subject. So just maintain those keenness, because psychology is a kind of subject that teach you so many things. I am not saying other subject not teaching, equally all those, right, topic, all those subject teaching us so many things, but psychology is a kind of subject that not helping understand the practical things that happening around us, right? They also help us understand ourselves. They also help us understand so many phenomena that happening occurring inside and outside. So whenever we are studying psychology, right, we are expecting that we will become, and we are becoming a good person day by day, right? But psychology is nothing without empathy, right? If we are studying psychology, so we must have right, empathy for society, for other individual. So on this note, I would like to suggest one series. If you are having time, if you are doing preparation for any psychology entrance exam, I'm not recommending to go on OTT platform, any OTT platform, but if you are having time, if you are in graduation or masters, you are having ample amount of time. So Amazon releases one series, their name is Gram Chikitsalay, right? That series focusing on health related concern and issues in rural India. More specifically, I would like to mention about the mental health. That particular series very strongly discussing and trying to help you understand, help us understand, and trying to depict that what kind of challenges we are having related to mental health in rural India, in a village, right? So I am not suggesting you to watch that particular movie. You can recommend other individuals as well, because what happened, as a psychologist and as a psychology student, whenever you are explaining something to other individual, they don't understand, they are not ready to understand what you are saying, right, what you are mentioning. But when any individual watching any series and watching any movies, I'm not saying that series is very scientific, no, I'm not saying it, right? But when they see something like this, So they are developing sometime those kind of sensitivity about the mental health, mental illnesses, and they are ready, they are becoming ready at least to accept yes, mental health issues are real, because many individuals in our society around us, they are not accepting that mental health problems are real. As a psychology student, right, we are having acceptance. हमें लगता है कि no, right, if mental health problems are there, individual must, or if any individual having any psychological discomfort, not only illness, they need to go to professional, they can talk to professional, right, we are bias free, right, there must not be any taboo, right. But when we talk about the mental health issues more specifically, there are so many stigma and taboo is related to it, mainly in rural area, villages. So that can help. So that is the thing. Mystery universe you are mentioning, can you please post Nimhan's previous year questions, sir? Mystery universe, Nimhan's conducting their entrance online, and you cannot come out with that question paper, right? So we are having model questions, so we don't have exact right question paper. So our team gradually on a particular interval, like right now many individuals going to participate in Nimhan's exam. So we already posted so many questions that could be the sample question for Nimhan's. So you can see and you can visit that questions. Thank you, Arju. Thank you for mentioning. Bhagya mentioning, thank you so much, sir. It's very helpful to me. Thank you, Bhagya. Wala, thank you so much, sir. You are my inspiration. Thank you, Wala. So thank you, everyone. Right, I hope you learned something, right? And just keep one thing in mind: whenever you are having anything, right? Anything to discuss, to share, I'm here. We can discuss, we can talk. But life is the combination of positive and negative things, challenges and right, what we can say, easy things. Sometimes you can feel you are achieving something easily, sometimes you are finding and feeling that I'm not achieving what I want to achieve, there are much struggle, right? So our life and who you are, who I am, that is the combination of all these things, right? So we must not have expectations कि हमारे लाइफ में सब कुछ स्मूथली होगा. Whenever there are any challenges we are facing, we are encountering, that making us who we are in reality, right? So ready to be challenged. Challenge means challenge, right? Challenge is not the problem, right? So challenge को हम अगर challenge की तरह ले, if we are not considering them problem, so we will enjoy, reaching or crossing, right, those challenges and reaching to your goal. So that's all, right? See you in next class. Then last comment I'm getting, Tanishka mentioning, would you care to help me, sir? I am done with 12th. There are a lot of confusion on pathway to take. Is it okay to do BSc honors of 3 year or 4 year is necessary? Tanishka, it is not necessary to complete your BSc of 4 years, but if you want to be a clinical psychologist, then this is highly recommendable to complete 4-year BSc. That will definitely help you out, right? So you can do 3 year, 4 year, anything that you want, what you want to study. But if you want to be a clinical psychologist, then go with 4 years BSc honors in clinical psychology. For more help, for more support, you can call to us anytime. We will happy to help you, right? So that's all for now. See you in next live. Bye. Take care. Bye everyone.